number 41, just I don't know, essentially just a rational equation. You could get a common denominator all the way across, or you could clear fractions and multiply both sides by the least common multiple of the denominator. I think that's what I would do. I think I would multiply both sides by 4 just to clear everything. So when I multiply this side by 4, the 4 and the 4 there cancel, leaving us with just x. And 4 times that, the 4 and the 2 is going to reduce to just 2 times 3, which is minus 6. Everyone see that? You could think of it as negative 12 halves, which again is negative 6. When you multiply this side by 4, because you have to do the same thing to both sides, the 4 and the 2 are going to reduce to 2x, and then 4 times 1 is just 4. So pretty soon it's just this question, and then we're just going to get x all by itself. So subtract this x over to the right, subtract this 4 over to the left. Negative 10 is less than or equal to x. And then I always hate when the variable's on the right-hand side, so I would say x is greater than or equal to negative 10. Good? And I think it said interval notation, so negative 10 greater than or equal to would be negative 10 to infinity, with a bracket on your negative 10. Oops, sorry. Any questions on that? 55 was just a compound inequality, meaning kind of this is written in between, so we're still isolating the x per usual. Add the 5 away, but we just have to do it in 3 places, so add 5. Oh boy, I'm really struggling with the lead today. With my classic pencil. So we're going to get 2 is less than or equal to 2/3 x is less than 4. And then dividing by 2/3, we're actually going to multiply by 3/2 everywhere. So that'll cancel. You'll have x. It's a positive number, so I don't have to worry about switching these signs. This will be 12/2, which is just 6. This is going to be just 3. Who asked that question? Raise your hand if you asked that question. Do you remember what gave you trouble about that? Gotcha. Okay. So you can divide by 2/3, but you'd have, like, you would not have a calculator question like this, so you would really have to know to multiply by the reciprocal to do that anyway. Okay, 95 was just like the notes that I told you about. You've got one equation and one essentially inequality. Y is less than or equal to 4. Just change that into a math term. So it's like a system, except for you only have one equation. So you take the equation and you use this expression. Since it equals y, you replace this y with it. So it ends up being 7 minus the absolute value less than or equal to 4. And then we focus on solving here. So subtract your 7 over. You get your negative absolute value nonsense is less than or equal to negative 3. You want to divide by negative 1. So absolute value x over 2 plus 2. You're flipping your sign when you divide by negative. And now branch. So our two branches are going to be x over 2 plus 2 is greater than or equal to 3. Keep one exactly the same. And x over 2 plus 2 less than or equal to negative 3. Flipping the direction and the plus minus. And then from here, just subtract 2. And then multiply by 2. And then over here, subtract 2 and multiply by 2. And on a number line, that would be negative 10, and we're going that direction, and 2, and we're going that direction. So your interval notation would be kind of that union. Negative infinity and negative 10, 2 to infinity. Okay? 115 was a word problem. I didn't want to copy it down, but I'll read it and translate it. A local bank charges $8 per month plus 5 cents per check. So that would be $8 plus 5 cents per check, and that is the bank. Versus a credit union charges $2 per month plus 8 cents per check. So $2 plus 8 cents. That's the credit union. And it says, how many checks should be written each month to make the credit union a better deal? So you want the credit union to be less than the bank, or the bank to be more than the credit union. That would make the credit union a better deal, correct? Because we're talking money. Better deal means smaller number. So this is what we're solving, and I would assume from that point you're fine. Probably maybe just the setup of this. So I will subtract my 2 over to the left, subtract my 5 cents per check over to the right. So essentially, this one's $6 overcharge on the flat fee needs to be made up for by the credit union's 3 cents more charge, right? How long will it take for that 3 cents change in charge per check to make up for that $6 differential in the beginning? That's really what's conceptually happening here. So divide by 0.03 and 200. That sound good? 3 goes into 6 twice. You may want to think about moving your decimal place over twice on both, so it would be 600 divided by 3. That's 200 is greater than X. So your number of checks needs to be less than 200 in order to make sure the credit union remains a better deal, right? Right off the bat, it's a better deal. $2 versus $8. It can only sustain that for so long, though, given that there's a 3 cent differential per check. So that's the conceptual part of it. Is that it? Any questions beyond those? You'll see more solutions.